This is something that is very essential for every Mulyan to understand about Mulya and the Mulya's vision, and how do we execute. uh, you people are mostly the executors who are on the ground and execute things, than people like me. We don't execute much. We are just keep talking. Right, so it is very important for everyone in this organization Mulya to understand the Mulya values, why Mulya, and then what we do. Those are the some few things that we will be touching upon in the next 4 weeks. So the first is the foundation. That is what I'm going to cover today. And in the next week we will look at Mulya way of testing, and something, an example maybe following. The other couple of weeks we will show how to put these things in action. See, 4 hours is so let's start with the core, the foundation. So the foundation is, of course, to understand why Mulya, right? Let me start with something called Golden Circle. It's based on a book, Start with Why. Before even getting into why, let's look at a couple of other things. So let's start with what. So if somebody asks you, what do you do in Mulya, or what do you do for your living? But I'm talking about more professional side. Of course, you have a lot of other things that you do beyond work. But since it's about work, so if somebody asks you what you do at work, so what do you tell? I mean, these are all. I'm expecting some interactions here. I'm asking you. Actually, you need to answer. Some of you can unmute and say your name, and then maybe share your views. See, these are the questions that are very open-ended. Every single company and almost every individual, if you ask what you do, usually should be easy to answer. It's what you do. We test software. Like, see, we don't try to answer. Try to find the right answer and try to tell. This is not a session I'm expecting you to provide me the right answer. I would rather prefer you to share what you think at the moment, right? So that or what you think. That's all. So nothing, as I said, nothing wrong in that. So maybe you might be wondering, okay, I need to somehow connect to the vision of the organization and tell that's not necessary. So keep it pretty simple. Like if somebody asks you what you say, maybe I would have asked a different question. Maybe I will keep this in mind and ask in the next session. Let's say if your friends or family asks what you do at Mulya, it's very easy to answer to you, for all of us, right? So we will say, yeah, we test software, right? So we test, we find bugs, that's what we do. So it's mostly easy to identify. Even let's say if you're not in Mulya, going to another organization, starting something, let's say you go and join, let's say Google, Apple. You ask what you do in Apple. Let's say you might say something which is pretty easy. On day one, you will be able to know mostly what you are doing, right? So the next is, how do you do what you do, right? So how do you, let's say, how do you test software? Like how do you test? So those are also, somewhat it's easy to answer. Let's say next thing is your friend might ask, hey, okay, how do you do software testing? I don't know. Can you explain me? So probably you will say the typical answer that you majority of the time you get in the interviews, right? You read the requirement document, understand the requirement, write test cases, and execute. And that is one of the ways, right? So that is the approach. That may be the proprietary process in some organization. Somewhere they will say, yeah, we do exploratory testing, we ask questions. That's a different thing. So how you do is more about your USP or value proposition, the approach, or the properties. For example, here you might use that Coda project management approach, and then some models, all those things that we do. Different companies do different things. So this is what the how part. So how do you do software testing? This is something that this is how you might be answering. Okay, so this is how. So how do you do what you do? Now comes the next question. So why Mulya do software testing, not something else? So why you do what you do? So why you get up, from bed every day, right? So maybe I'm making money, but that's kind of a result. That is not the purpose, right? So only very few, may be able to tell the why part, right? So the purpose, or the cause, or the belief. So why does Mulya exist? Why do you get up, from the bed every day morning? Why should anyone care? All right. Are you seeing? If you maybe you sound little philosophical as well. If you think little deeper, it's little it's harder to answer why. Why do you test software, or why Mulya exist, right? So you can even ask a question: why should you know about why, right? Uh, so why do you think Mulya exist? To make money, of course, that's a result that any business wants to make money. There is no doubt about that, right? Yeah. So why Mulya exist? Okay.
Yes, I suppose to exactly like to ensure the quality. Actually,
To ensure the quality. Yeah. Okay.
the first thing. Second thing, we have majorly into the startups as well, right? Because the startups are those who have some kind of a dynamic work mechanism with themselves, and they want some testers who can accommodate themselves with them the mindset actually. So I
Okay.
suppose Mulya has given them, and Mulya it has that existence
Mhm.
within the unicorns of this industry. That's why we exist.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So before, yeah, that's one of the things that why Mulya exists, because of startup, all those. That is something that uh, you know that we often talk in the recent few years, right? So when Mulya started, it was not about, okay, we will go and focus on the startup. That was not the purpose that Mulya was started solving customer problems, okay, to make a difference in testing space, okay.
A wider space was like in industries, they were not looking into the wider space where like their products, why they don't work, or why there is a failure, or
Mhm.
shapers that to cover that. Mulya help the customers and or like to show their state of the product, real state of the product, and it's like part of that. It's
Okay,
not,
it's
yeah.
Sneha, right? It's
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Great. Okay.
Also, there was a requirement, I believe, like in the industry for the testing space.
Yeah, there was a opportunity. There was a requirement in the testing space. Okay. So there exists a space, or you can find your own space, right? For instance, that's what I'm going to show next. Again, Apple is just an example that I'm going to pick. So there existed a smartphone even before Apple came in, but how did they change things, right? So somebody was trying to make a difference in testing space, but that could I see one of that is very close to why Mulya exists, because it's not that we invented something testing or something. It was always there. It's been carried by thousands and if not hundreds, thousands and thousands of companies that exist. How do you think we can compete with bigger IT companies? Like that. Okay, so I'll play an example, play a video from Apple. So let me know if you can also search on
the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
If you observe this, commercials, I think which came long back, 80s, I guess. they don't talk about what they do. Like, they make, then they were making computers. Even if you see, they make phones, they make iPads. Very, very rarely in a direct advertisement from Apple, you will see the specs like, the technical configurations or anything about the product will be ever shown. And even in this ad, it's not about what they do or how they do, right? So it's about why they want to change, why Apple exists. They want to change the status quo, and at least in my view, they have done it more than once. So they changed the way the personal computers were there. They changed the way the smartphones existed. So they want to change the status quo, and they have achieved it a couple of times. And usually people don't buy what you do, right? So everybody does. Why certain people go and buy Apple, or why certain people come to Mulya when there are other organizations which could be able to provide testing service much cheaper. All those people usually buy why you do it, not just because of what you do, right? So that is the golden circle. So why? See, if you start with the why part, once you have understood why, then you will naturally figure out how to do things and what to do and what not to do. But if you are just doing what is being told, so let's say if you join to Mulya and somebody says, okay, here is the mind map, you go and use. Okay, here is the test coverage, use it. So you know what to do. So what you need to do, so you need to create a mind map, you need to provide a test coverage. Okay, sometimes then, yes, you understand a little better, probably you will know how to do things, right? But unless otherwise you understand the why part, you will never know why you are doing certain things, like why you are asked to create mind maps, or why you are asked to do certain things. You might be blindly following without understanding the why part. And also only by understanding why, you will be able to question what is being told to do, right? Or else you'll just follow, and you're not going to question anything, because you don't even know why you are doing. You are asked to create a mind map, you're creating a mind map. But if you know why Mulya exists and how it is connected, then probably if things are not right, or if some things are missing, that is when you will be able to do correct things, and then bring a difference in testing, or solve customer problems much better. Or like Sneha or somebody was saying, it's about helping them to understand the coverage part, all those things. Okay, so now going back to the example of Apple again. If you go from the outer, let's say go from the inner, like why, what is the purpose? So for example, if Apple they say they believe in challenge the status quo and doing things differently. How? Maybe their products are designed beautifully and easy to use. What the result is, they make computers and phones, right? This is a old book. I think this book again came in 2007 or so. So they say we make computers. Okay, same if you apply something similar in Mulya. So what is the result? You provide quality, help customer with a quality product. But I also wanted to correct few things. As you keep learning, you should be able to see. These are the reasons why I told, okay, share what you know. Nothing wrong in those answers. But I like to highlight, as you start understanding the why, you will be able to, even frame your sentences much better, right? It's not, we can never ensure the quality. Let me come to that, right? So we help, quality is everybody's responsibility, right? You can see, ensuring quality means you need to be able to, fix bugs and ensure the quality, right? But are you the one who fixed the bugs? No, right? So we help the customers to understand, or not understand, to help the customers with information that about the quality of the product. So we are here to tell whether the quality is good, bad, or great. That is what we are here. So that is the result. So how we do, we have a lot of things, right? We talk about Mulya way of testing, mind maps, test coverage, questioning, exploration. So all those things. That is something that we will see in the coming sessions. Now, why? So why do you want to provide quality related information, or why we wanted to do all this approach? Because Mulya wants to prevent bugs. It's not about finding bugs, right? It's about preventing bugs, right? Preventing bugs and tech debts, which Pradeep, see, this is again, if you see the vision, it didn't start when, Mulya started. Sometimes, we will not be able to even articulate the vision. It took a while for, Mulya also to come up with the vision. So what is the difference in Mulya's logo compared to the one present in the Basangudi office and the one present in HSR office?
The tagline?
Yeah, what is the tagline in Basangudi office, the old office?
Granular testing.
Yeah, Brainwell software testing. Okay, what is in the new office?
Preventing bugs and tech tips.
Yeah, preventing bugs and tech tips. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share. Like, sometimes when even same, this could be true with Apple also. I don't think think differently is something that they started the tagline when Apple started, right? We start with something and eventually take time to articulate why. That's what I would say. It's not that Pradeep started without a vision or something, as Steve Jobs started Apple without a vision, right? So they had, but it takes a while to articulate, because it's something that you wanted to convey to the world, right? It's not easy, because human language has its own restrictions. You can't convey whatever you have it in your brain. It takes time. So finally, that's the articulation that that has came out after all these years of it's been there for last 5 years or so, but we started more putting it everywhere in the last few years. So that is why Mulya exists, right? So what is your how do I say? What is the cost? Like, what do you believe in? So Mulya believes in preventing bugs and tech debts rather than just finding. Right? So that is why we exist. So now, if you understand why Mulya exists, probably you will think much better than how to do things. Not necessarily just blindly following what has been already told, right? So that we can have a better a relevant result which helps in preventing bugs, rather than just telling, okay, here are the 5 bugs that we have found. Right now, if you start connecting to the vision, let's say any status report or any sprint closure reports or any reports that you are sharing, it should contain, here are the things that we have to prevent things, or here are the things that we did so that we prevented these, rather than giving 30 bugs found, 50 test cases executed, right? So that is the purpose. So that is why Mulya exists, right? To help the options that we work with prevent bugs and tech debt. Okay, so that is the why part. And then now, how are we going to achieve this? Okay, that is something that I will be taking you next. But before that, let's have a look at how testing is viewed or done in the industry. We jump into the next part. Let me know if there are any questions or anything else you people want to share. Let me know, or else we will start the next part.
Yeah, hi, DS. Good morning.
Yeah, Manjunath, yeah.
Yeah, I had one doubt. Like, what is the main difference between preventing and finding the bugs? Like, when we find the bugs, that is similar to preventing the bugs. Right? Like, we find the bugs and we give them the bugs, and they will fix it. So that is preventing.
No, the bug already exists.
Okay.
So see, this answer to your question probably you will get at the end of the upcoming couple of sessions. That is the purpose of the session, right? So there is no one 2-line answer for this question that you asked. Okay, but I like to highlight the other point when you said, okay, there is a bug we have found and we have, it got fixed. See, it got fixed only because you found it, right? What if you don't find it? So what is the guarantee that you will find everything?
Yeah.
Right. So that is what, the prevention, part comes in, right? So again, to, suddenly I got this thing. So like we also talk about our health, right? Prevention medicine or prevent disease rather than curing it. Right? You can think in those lines, right? So just imagine that you have a right, diet habit that fits your body. That way, probably you are preventing, lifestyle diseases like, diabetes and other things, right?
Yes.
So what you need to do in order to prevent, there are certain information you already know. For example, based on your family history and other things, that your risk of certain diseases. So probably you will start making preventive steps, right?
Yes.
So this is in a similar way. See, and this is something that you start involving from the very early stages of the product development, right? That's how you prevent. You can't prevent things just if the organization, let's say you start a project and next day you get a build to test. You can't prevent many things. There are a lot of factors that is involved. So eventually, every one of here should move towards that vision. I'm not expecting that you are put into the project. Okay, you start preventing bugs. No, that is not how it works. We'll come to that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So great. Okay. So let's. Okay, I'm not sharing the screen. Okay. Let's get.
DS, I have a question. So, is it fine to change our vision over a period of time? Like initially, we have taken the example for Mulia Tagman, right? So,
Yeah.
it says brand software testing, and now it's preventing bugs. So, over the years, like we iterate ourselves and then defined, okay, so we are going to prevent it and moving towards this particular vision. So, is it okay to change our vision over a period of time?
It is. I would say it is okay, and there are many times organizations have changed their vision.
Okay.
So see, and things is and actually, the organization needs to change the vision. Okay, so they cannot remain with one vision, which means that they are getting outdated. That's what I would say. So, for instance, Apple again, like if you even they change the names on the vision, right? For example, Apple was Apple Computers.
Right. Yeah.
They were doing just only computers, nothing else. But they were never even thinking about creating an iPhone. Okay, who thought that they will do? But somehow we don't know. Like somehow internally only they will know why they decided to do. But somehow they found an opportunity there, and then they were able to change the way things works, and then they changed the name from Apple Computer to Apple Inc. Because they were no more just into only computers, right? So it's okay to change the vision as long as there could be. I can think of a few reasons why organization may change their vision. One, they might have achieved that vision.
Okay.
So, for instance, in the previous organization where I was working, they do cancer diagnosis machines. Okay. So their vision was, to get the cancer diagnosis, the test results in 24 hours. So currently it takes a week time because it's a huge process, right? So let's say they want to bring it. Their vision is like if you give a sample within 24 hours, they should be able to get the results.
Okay.
What if they achieve that? Once they achieve, and there are once they achieve it, they need to think next, right?
Yes.
So there could be a reason. So if an organization achieved its vision, it will start thinking other, or their focus or their purpose got changed because of various reasons. Maybe the industry is changing, right? All those things. For example, we can take a lot of e-commerce companies, right? Before the IT or the smartphone boom, companies like what, like this Pantaloons, Shopper Stops, they never thought about their online presence, right?
Right. Yeah.
So the things change, and they may need to shift the focus. If they want to shift the focus, they need to rewrite their vision.
Okay.
Right? So it's okay. It happens. And if the companies are not changing their vision, irrespective of things changing, those are the companies, I think they died. Nokia could be a great example.
Yes.
Nokia or BlackBerry.
Very, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Dinesh, for that question. I was saying that these things may not be, widely available outside, and you may not be even able to, discuss. Like, say, you can't go and tell somebody that I work in a routine school, or I work in an analytical school, or I'm from a CDT. Those things. But this is like, you need to understand different views so that you will be able to know where Mulya stands, why we chose those views and all those. Okay, so this will help us to connect back to, okay, here is the vision we got, and what will help us to take towards the vision. Okay, so the first is the routine school. We will look at each of their views, their belief, and their exemplars and key questions that they ask, to constantly move towards achieving the goals. Okay, so routine school, usually you will see this kind of testing done in big IT projects and maybe in government projects. Okay, to this school of belief, people who believe in this school or this belief system. To answer school or belief system, maybe you can imagine like a religion or the faith that you have it in certain things, right? So there is no, it's not about saying which is right, which is wrong. It's not about that which is better than the other one, nothing like that. But to understand what are the different views of testing. Okay, so that's all. It's not about to prove that something is better than the other view. So this routine school, they believe software development is a project. Okay, so if it's a project, it has to be predictable, it has to be repeatable, you should be able to plan. And they believe in testing should be more cost effective. So they come up with a overall strategy that this is how I'm going to develop software. If I want to test my testing, I don't want to spend much on the testing. So low skilled people is enough to do the testing. And they believe with testing, they understand, they try to measure the progress. Okay, for instance, why? Because for them, it's a project, right? For any project, you need to know the progress. So you need to end up understanding, okay, here is my project. What is the progress? How long it will take to complete? Are we on track as per the plan? Because they need predictability, right? So for instance, if software is developed, where are we? In order to understand that, where are we with respect to testing? Okay, I need to know what is the progress that we have made. So if you want to know the progress, you need to measure, right? If you want to measure, you need to have a number. So what is the way? They came up with, okay, let's write test cases. We'll count the test cases. If there are 1,000 test cases, if 500 is done, okay, I'm 50% done. I need another 50% is to be completed. So let's say if it takes 1 month to do 50%, it may take another 1 month. Of course, there are a lot of other parameters, but it's the way to start measuring the progress. So what is the key question? It's all about looking at the progress. Are we making the progress? Then we will complete. Okay, so that is the key question they keep asking every day. Okay, where are we? When we will complete? So how do you or how do we get to know where are we? Keep measuring the progress by counting. Of course, numbers are the only way to measure the progress. That also is the universal truth, because that is how you compare, without which you can't compare, right? So the exemplar or the key, the focus they look at is traceability, requirement traceability. So they try to make sure that every requirement has been tested. Okay. So what are the ways that they implement or the implications? So they try to bring standards. They have best practices and do certification. There should be clear plan, and they don't want to they don't encourage change in the plan, because if there is a constant change, then it's become very difficult to plan. You lose the predictability. For them, they wanted to be testing has to be managed, predictable, and repeatable. So how many of you feel that I have worked in such environment? Anybody? Have you worked in previous organization or even in Mulya? Maybe some of our customers might be following this. Anybody has or had experience of working in such projects? Okay, great. If I think this is more of younger crowd, so you may not have worked in bigger, the old style. What do you call the waterfall model? Okay, so that is where mostly your product goes to. You have 6 months or 1 year of development planning, and then you sit for first 3 months without anything. That is when you start writing test cases. Later, once you get the software to develop test, you will start executing those test cases. So that is the routine school, as I covered in the early itself. It's in all big IT projects. Okay, that is what they do. Okay, so the next one is some of the authors that you might have, if you have done ISTQB, you'd have been knowing him. The Rex Black. Those are the people who who advocates this routine school, but they themselves don't call as a routine school. That is why I keep saying you will not find these things outside of this session. Okay, so next is the quality school. So large bureaucratic organization, the organization that is under the stress. Maybe they are falling way too behind the schedule, or the quality of the product is too low. These are the places where you will find the quality school. So they believe that software testing is more of a discipline process. So testers determine whether the process are followed. They strongly believe that you will find the quality school. So they believe that software testing is more of a discipline process. So testers determine whether the process are followed. They strongly believe that it is the testers responsibility to protect users from bad software, and they are the gatekeepers, right? So in order to do that, they constantly keep asking the question: are we following the right process, or are we following the good process? Okay, so they are the gatekeepers, as I was saying. So software isn't ready. So until you certify, they believe they think that software is not ready. Okay, so they in this kind of environment, the testers are the gatekeepers. So if something goes wrong, the testers are being are being the ones who will be the gatekeeper, and they don't allow the release. They don't allow the product go to market and all those. So that is why they prefer to be called themselves quality assurance rather than calling themselves testers. And they believe it is always process improvement. That is how they implement things on the ground. So you can go back and refer to Coda. Right away I can. So if you go to our wiki page, so if you look at vocabularies right away, you can start looking at one big difference from their view and ours. So here we talk about best to mention. So the routine school talks about best practices, but some Mulya don't really emphasis on best practices. You can go and try to understand why. Here again, gatekeeper, for example, gatekeepers, why we don't prescribe to being a gatekeeper, which also again relate to quality assurance. Why we think testers cannot assure quality, and what is Mulya's view. So that is something that you can look at our vocabularies to understand certain views. So this is about quality school. And anybody worked in such an environment? There are many places I have seen even in current Mulya customers sometimes asks us to give a sign off, and then we give a sign off, and that is kind of a organization without even knowing that they follow this. There are quite a few good examples that I can share, and I don't know how many of you can connect this. See, don't think that just because we are in Mulya and our customers, everybody follows Mulya way of testing. No, that is not the reality. We'll talk about those in the coming sessions. How do we provide value even in such environment? Okay, so this is about the quality school. They believe that the testers are the ones who needs to assure the quality. Okay, the next one is analytic school. So analytic school thinks that software is a logical artifact. Of course, software is a logical artifact. There is no doubt in that. So they believe testing is technical. Okay, it's a branch of maths, computer science. Computer science itself is a branch of a math. Electrical engineering, electrical is more of maths because you have physical laws that defines how things operate in this universe. So there will be always one right answer. There is no different answers. So it doesn't matter. You try to calculate certain things, I calculate certain things. The answer will be the same if you apply because those are the physics, natural laws, not natural laws, physics, right? So that is what these things believe in. For instance, it doesn't matter who adds two numbers, the answer should be the same. So they believe there is only one right answer, and it is all logical form. Okay, so if you wanted to have one right answer for every question that you are asking, it is more of you have to use techniques, right? For example, boundary value analysis, it's a technique. What is the other two common, are the two only known techniques that been always asked in interviews? Boundary value analysis, what is the other one?
Equivalence partitioning.
Yeah, equivalence class partitioning. Okay, so if you take interviews in Mulya, if you're asking these questions, please avoid asking these questions. Okay, so it doesn't matter, whoever applies equivalence class partitioning, the answer should be the same. If the answer is different, somebody is wrong, or both of them are wrong. So there is only one right answer. So they keep thinking about techniques. What techniques can I use, to test it, and then I can certify that, or I can know that the product is working as expected. Okay, so code coverage. So one of the ways, the core, it is, I don't know, in my entire experience, I have come across only one customer who was like this. They were Mulya's client, one of the earliest client, by the way. So myself, Srinu and Pradeep both were in the customer location, and the head of testing there is an IIT and both. I think he's also PhD or MTech. I don't remember exactly. He's from a hardcore techie. He takes care of not head of testing, head of engineering. He takes care of the entire, coming up with analysis. No, coming up with the algorithm for, we call picking algorithm. So for instance, when you order something in Amazon, right? It's not that if you're thinking that, okay, I order 4 products, there will be a Amazon employee who takes a cart, go to the warehouse and pick my 4 products and come and pack. No, that is not that. That means that that is the most inefficient way of doing. So there are algorithms which figure out the shortest and the efficient way to pick products for you. So they will have multiple trays. They keep picking. So let's say if 2 people ordered certain phone, they go to the rack and pick both the phones and put it in 2 different racks. If they scan, they will know where to put. So it will tell which tray to put. So he was designing that algorithm. So he thinks that but the testing also can be done in the same way. So we keep coming up with test ideas or test cases, and then we keep automating. And then his job is our goal is to get 100% code coverage by automating. So he believed in that. Okay, if you achieve 100% code coverage, then your product is bug free, right? So that is what the quality school thinks. So here the implications are the way is they need to have a precise detailed specifications, and tester verify whether it conforms to its specification. So that is also one of the view towards testing. So why it's important for us to understand is, now you may go back, and if somebody says use techniques or use code coverage or count test cases, so they have their own view towards testing. Nothing wrong in that. In order for us to move from preventing bugs and then move from finding bugs to preventing bugs, first is we need to understand what is their view. Probably then that is trying to find an answer. Why is this person asking me to why is this person emphasizing me on getting a code coverage? I might be thinking, hey, I have 100 different ways to show the test coverage, and I can prove that things are not working. But he wants only one thing: I want code coverage. That's all. So if once you understand why that person wants, then probably you will start thinking, okay, now here is the reason why, because this person believes this is how software testing needs to work. He is from analytical school of thinking, so he is analytical thinker. Then his approach will be like this. Then now you can start thinking what I should do in order to make him to understand or provide him with more insights beyond the code coverage. So in such case, you will start thinking what I need to do and how I need to do. You will not just blindly follow a template that is given to you, or any mind map that you create that Mulya provides. You may not be able to work with such people who has a different view, right? If the views are not matching, it's very hard. So here again, want to connect back to why. So if you understand why certain customer or certain people are doing this, then probably you will find better ways of what needs to be done here and how I need to do these things. So another school is context-driven testing school. So these kind of views go well with commercial market-driven softwares. I'll come to that why it is fit for a commercial market-driven softwares. Puneet, you can listen to the recording. So this school believes software is created by people. People set the context. Testing is providing information to the project. It's not about assuring quality. It's not about measuring the progress, or it's not about finding one right answer, but rather we provide information about the project. See, you can provide information even by writing test cases. You can provide information by using techniques. It is not that we are against, or it's not that CDT is against you should not be using techniques. No, techniques needs to be used where it is needed. Okay, maybe you will end up counting test cases where it is needed. Maybe you will be sometimes act as a gatekeeper if it is needed, right? So it is about, and at the same time, so I think I need to correct my statement. It's not about gatekeeper, but you will be providing quality related information to the stakeholders rather than being a gatekeeper, right? So if you try to connect with quality school, hey, I can't be a gatekeeper, but I can provide information about quality. I can say here is 10 critical bugs which may prevent user from registering our product, and that's why there is a huge business risk. That is the quality related information that you are providing. We are not going to tell, hi, here is the 10 critical bugs, I will not allow to release the product. No. That is when you compare with quality school. Okay, so testing is, testing is about finding bugs, but it is very critical for you to have a clear definition of bugs. Okay, so context-driven school says yes, testing is about finding bugs. But what is a bug? The bug is anything that could bug a stakeholder. Okay, so this is where it is very critical to understand different thought process or different views and their definition of bug. Okay, if you connect this, let's say, this is where having partial information and assuming that we know everything and applying screws up, not only here, everywhere. Okay, not only in professional life, even in personal life, even in social, political, or wherever it is. Just picking up one line from a huge thing, and then, especially in this WhatsApp world, people keep forwarding a lot of things. For example, if they forward just taking one line out, it's blown out of the context. Okay, here also, let's say, if I pick this, where is it? Yeah. So testing is finding bugs. Okay, good. So you take this and apply to the routine school. Okay. You just pick this blindly and apply in routine school. Now you don't have the definition of bug. You don't know the definition of bug. Somewhere you read, testing finds bug. So you like, okay, testing finds bug. Testing is to find bugs. Find bugs. Okay. So now you take this and apply in context, let's say in a routine school. Okay, testing, find bugs. Okay, what is now look at the definition of bugs in routine school. Without requirement, if it's not in the requirement, that's the only bug. They don't consider anything else as a bug, right? So you need to know in which context what is relevant. You can't pick one line here and put it somewhere else, and then you think that what I'm doing is right. So in order to gain right knowledge, you have to ask a lot of questions. Asking questions will eventually lead to the right answers. So somebody says testing finds bugs, you should ask question. Okay, what is a bug according to you? They might give an answer. From there you will pick up another question. So why to find bugs? What are the bugs? What is your definition of bugs? All those things matters. The more and more you start asking questions, the more and more you gain knowledge. Okay, don't make any assumptions. So if somebody says find bugs, don't assume that. Okay, in my previous organization, this is the bug, so I'll assume I'll also put the same thing here. No, you need to ask in this context what is their definition of bugs, or what he meant bug, and your understanding of bug, is it same? Okay, so that is what context driven testing things. And context, this school thinks testing is a skilled mental activity and multidisciplinary. It's not about following the process that is being asked to follow. Okay, and here is very important key question that this school asks: what testing would be most valuable right now? Okay, it can be anything. It could be executing test cases. It could be applying some techniques. It could be exploring product. What is most valuable right now? For instance, if tomorrow is the release, what is valuable today will be completely different from if the release is 3 months from now. Okay, so what is most valuable right now? In today's concept, every morning if you start, okay, what is the most valuable testing that I can do right now? If tomorrow is the release, you can't take 5,000 test cases and start running one by one. But if release is 3 months down the line, what is valuable today will be different. Okay, so that is the key question. So routine school asks, what is the progress I have made today? What is the progress is so far, and when I can complete? Here CDT asks, what is relevant today? What is the most valuable testing that I could do today? Okay, so that you can find the answers only if you understand the project context, the product context, and what you are doing. Okay, so the exemplar is more towards exploratory testing, because these are done in commercial market-driven softwares. Okay, so why exploratory testing is more suited for commercial markets, commercial or market-driven software. For instance, I think some of you might be working in Flipkart, maybe in Myntra. I know Sneha is from Myntra, client, and we have maybe people working in Cred. For example, let's say Amazon comes up with brand new the feature or something that attracts the customer. Let's say like a wish list. To keep it simple, let's say there is we are living in a universe where there is no wish list. Suddenly Amazon comes up with wish list where people can add them and add your products to the wish list, and later you can buy. This has a potential to improve the revenue, because sometimes what happens is if there is a no list, you might forget, you might not be able to buy today, but tomorrow if you open the app again, it's already there in the wish list. The probability of you buying is more. So let's say Amazon comes up with this. Flipkart needs to definitely catch up as quick as possible. Myntra needs to bring this feature immediately. They can't say that, okay, next 1 year I have planned for these features. I will do the wish list after 1 year. No, that is never possible in a commercial market-driven software. So it's all driven by the market, right? So it is more dynamic, agile. That is why. So you can't say that as a tester, you can't say, hey, give me the requirement. I need business team or the SRS, give me, I will read, understand the requirement, come up with test cases. I will take 1 month to write the test cases, and then I will start testing. Do you think that you can tell that to the situation? No, you can't. So that is why this exploratory testing suits a commercial market-driven softwares much easier, because there you don't tell that, hey, give me requirements. I first write test cases, and then later I will test. Okay, so you have to be ready to do these things. You learn quickly. So here they talk about rapid learning and exploratory testing. So you do everything in concurrent. So if you want to do this, then this needs people with skilled people with multidisciplinary skill sets, and rather than being like, if you compare this with quality school, they talk about low skilled requiring direction, low skilled, right? Of course, the trade-off, everything has a trade-off. So if you want a skilled tester, they will be expensive. It's hard to find them, all those, right? So of course it has its own trade-off, but that is not something that we are getting in there. So what is the implications? They expect change, not like routine school. They restrict change. They resist change. So here we focus more on skills and be more practical. Pragmatism, be practical. The example that I told, if the customer, if the context is, say, I need to go to market in next few days, you can't tell that, hey, give me requirement, give me 2 days to understand requirement, then I will write test cases, then only I will execute. Not possible. So you have to be more practical. So if you have to be more practical, you need to understand the context. If you want to understand what is the most valuable thing to do right now, and being practical, all these are possible only if you question things and assume nothing. So these are the 2 core things that I have highlighted here. So you cannot assume anything if you are working in a market-driven commercial softwares where things move pretty fast, agile. That is what most of the current folk. It doesn't matter even if it's an enterprise. People move more towards agile. And to give some history behind the CDT school and Agile Manifest, Agile, how it came, both almost came in the same time frame, in the early or the late 90s, early 2000. Set of people got together and then had a few days of workshop, and the Agile Manifesto came out of that. Same time, a group of people testers met, and they came up with, because things were changing then in the early 2000. because of the web, the IT, the .NET, .com boom, right? So what happened is now it became, instant. If you make some change, you can deploy. People all over the world can access that feature. Before that, it's all on-site, right? So if you develop a software, you need to take a CD and go to premises to install the product. So there was no kind of urgency that I need to release that should be released every week or so, because it's not possible. Because it has to be, the product has to be shipped in a CD or a DVD or a hard drive. You take it, go and click install, next, those things, right? So as the technology was evolving, the way the approach towards developing software also got evolved with Agile. So you can go and read Agile Manifesto, what they emphasize on. During the same time, a group of people in the testing community also realized, the world is changing, the technology is changing, so we need to change approach towards testing. That is when the Agile Manifesto came, and the CDT also came up with their, principles, which is there in the context-driven school. You can go and read. Similarly, if you want to understand all these sprint Agile, please don't think that Agile means 2 week sprint, daily stand-up, and then sprint planning meeting, all those things. Okay, so you need to start with, go and read the Agile Manifesto. There is a page, agilemanifesto.org. It's written in, their manifesto is written in multiple languages. Even if you're not, good at English, you can read in your own mother tongue. Most of the Indian languages also it's translated. Okay, so in order to be a good context-driven tester who figure out what is the most valuable thing to do right now, you have to be multidisciplinary, be pragmatic. You need to have the skills, and in order to get there, the one core thing is you should not make any assumptions. This leads to the starting of the session where Sasta gave a good intro that no question is bad question. That's the essence that I wanted to connect. So don't assume anything. Think as if you are newbie, and then if somebody says, okay, let's log all the bugs. If you are starting the project, feel free to ask this question: what does bug to you mean? Okay, so a bug that you thought or you are being told in a previous project may not be relevant over here. Okay, so let's assure the quality. Ask a question: what is quality to you? For example, if one of your customers is asking, of course you need to be more framing the question better. That is important. That is a skill that you need to learn. But you can ask, okay, what is quality to them mean, right? The quality to me might be different from quality to somebody else. Okay, so again, an example for me, for someone, quality means, let's say, for me, an Apple product is a quality product. For somebody, Mercedes-Benz or Porsche is a high quality product. Not necessarily for everybody, right? For somebody who don't even know there exists an Porsche, for them the quality is like, okay, for me the quality product is maybe XUV 700. That is the highest quality. So quality again is subjective. You need to understand what your stakeholders' definition of quality. So that is where you assume nothing and then question everything and then find answers. Okay, so that is here are the authors: James Bach, Kem Kanner, which of course, if you have seen the books in Mulya Library, the lessons learned in software testing, they are the author. These three are the authors of the book: Dr. Kem Kanner, Brian Marick, and James Bach. Okay, so this is now in order to. So now, if you connect starting, Mulya's vision, and then the kind of focus. I think somebody told about startups. So the startups, we focus on startups, market-driven software products, right? All commercial market-driven products rather than enterprise. So they are all very agile. So which one suits in this context? Context-driven testing, suits our vision. That is the reason why we choose this. There is nothing. It's not that this is superior over other things, right? So that is why for these kind of vision where we wanted to prevent bugs and we wanted to work. Our focus is more on tech startups. This context-driven school of testing aligns better with our need, and then our Mulya way of testing is built on the foundations of context-driven testing. Okay, that is something that we will start seeing in the coming weeks. With this, I hope I have set the context of why Mulya and then why Mulya way of testing. I hope that gives some answers. So this finally, gets back to our vision. And then, one thing, I'll end with this. So what you need to understand, okay, now you got some idea of why Mulya and why Mulya way of testing. And the other thing that keep in mind before getting more deeper is, sometimes you might ask why we don't talk about certain things like exploratory testing, or some, of course, in many projects, we end up executing test cases, counting test cases, all those. So the answer to that is, every customer comes to Mulya of the why part, why we exist. Okay. And sometimes they don't bother much about how. Like that is the point that I made earlier as well. So sometimes they don't bother how you do things, what you do. It doesn't matter to them. It's all about why. Are you able to provide value to us? That's all they look at. Some customers also look at how part. Those are the ones who will talk certain terminologies like exploratory testing, test charters, those kind of things. For example, Colibra, we had Medidata. So they came to us not only for the value, but how we do things. So try to understand why, again, why the customer, came to Mulya. So did they came only for value, or they also know the how part? Because this is for sometimes you don't bother how things are built, right? For example, let's say you go and buy a phone, all you look for is, is it worth for my money? Is it doing what I am expected to do? You rarely worry much about, how these things are manufactured and all those things, right? That's what some of you think, but some of you will think, okay, I want to know how these things are made, which country is this made, which material is used. Then if you start finding answers and your decision is based on that, then the choice of product will change. Same thing here. So sometimes most of the customers may not come to us because of how, but because of why. So every customer come to us because of why. So most customers don't bother how we do things. Of course, there are some customers who also look at how we do things. In such cases, for example, if in Colibra or let's say in Colibra, one example, and there are a few other projects, you can't go and tell the customer that, hey, I will count test cases, or I will. You can't use the words like these things, but rather you focus more on the Mulya way of testing, including the terminologies. Okay, so that is why in some majority places you may not be, it's not very visible why we don't do certain things. Okay, but at the end, it doesn't matter, the terminologies that is being used or how you are doing certain things. The why remains the same irrespective of the customers. Okay, so with that, let me stop